What's the easiest way to ruin your life in your opinion? Picking the wrong partner. Fixing your marriage by having a baby. Fighting. Only takes losing control for a second to go from disagreement to felony, especially since the culture nowadays is to slam, knock out someone. One wing move and it's a major charge. Apart from drugs. Mismanaged credit. So many people I know could have fairly decent lives with their income, but instead are buried in credit card debt and bank loans. Many of them even have high incomes. Just one example. Family friend. University degree in chemistry. Stable job but drives a 1994 Cavalier in the worst conditions. Her brother died and she got enough money to put a huge down payment into an apartment, 70 to 80%, and pay some major debts. Kept saying it was too small and ended up getting more debt and the money vanished. It is very easy to get crazy high limits on credit cards, but too many people treat them like free money. Gambling addiction. I'm a sober alcoholic and I think drug and alcohol addictions are incredibly serious and can be devastating. Gambling is a whole different beast where you won't lose your life or physical health. Directly at least. But you can seriously ruin your life. I've seen families with kids get torn apart by it. The chase never stops. If you make $25,000 you'll bet everything you can and most likely get destroyed. If you work your way up to a 100K plus job you'll most likely just increase your bet size and still ruin your life. The high is about winning an exciting amount of money, which usually means you have to wager a significant amount of money. From personal experience, becoming disabled only took 4 months for me. Edit. Thank you for the awards guys, and I've also been reading the stories y'all are sharing. I'm sorry if you've been through this. Cocaine is God's way of telling you you're making too much money. Robin Williams. Crack cocaine. I once ruined the sit out of my life with crack and it affects my life to this day. I've been clean for over 3 years now and I never intend to do it again. Drug addiction. Join the wrong friend group at a young age. It's often one of the main causes for the other one starting. Drugs, crime, teen pregnancy etc. and can ruin entire morals. Excluding obvious things like murder and addiction. Unchecked negativity, rudeness, aggression, insults, even offhanded sit. Not only does a lot of that outlook become habitual and in turn you begin treating yourself worse than you should, but also it literally just takes one dude having a bad day and then you're 6 feet under and he's in jail. Attempting suicide by shotgun to the head, but the blast only takes your face off and you live. Marry someone just to have sex with them. Hating yourself. Avoiding things. Overdose on Tylenol. It's cheap. You can find it everywhere. You won't die right away, but your life will be miserable and painful until you do. People do it all the time. On accident. And on purpose. I'll take another approach. Car accident. Everything else people are talking about here requires to go out of your way to make a tempting yet risky choice. Driving is hard to avoid. Nobody can do it all the time without making a mistake once in a while. Make it at the wrong time and you're dead, crippled, for something you spent so much energy trying to avoid. Edit. This really blew up. Thanks everyone. Failed suicide attempt. Suddenly becoming disabled. I am unable to work anymore, never again. I spent my entire life working with animals. Training horses and dogs. Showing and riding horses from 2 to 32, eat, breath, live. Then never to work, ride, show or train. Working with abused or aggressive horses to help them. Gone in less than a second after. The first of many health issues. Breaking cervical vertebra. It all went down from there. Edit. To add, was injured playing soccer, not riding. Procrastination. Fentanyl, still battling to get out of this addiction. It's known to be one of the worst drugs going around right now. I had such a happy life, and once you start those pills it's all fun and games to one day you realize nothing makes you happy unless you're high and numb. Take it from me. Never do opioids. An eating disorder will do it pretty damn quick. Inflexibility. If you cannot, or will not, accept change or the possibility that you are incorrect, you are doomed. It's not a sign of strength to zealously defend the indefensible. Nor is it a sign of weakness to admit that situations change or that you are capable of error. Dogged dedication to a dogma with no adaptation to reality is the surest way to lose jobs, friends, and lovers. Getting pregnant and having a kid when you didn't want one. The task itself to get there is pretty easy to do, lol. This is kinda controversial. But some people just aren't meant to have kids and end up with some anyway. I know a few people who absolutely despise their lives because they ended up with kids. Sure, they love their children, but they're still salty about having to give up on their aspirations. Jab both of your eyes. It only takes a split-second decision and you will have to go the rest of your life remembering what it was like when you could see. Payday loans. Ignoring and not facing your trauma. It only grows and gets worse unless you face that shit head on. Mental illness. You don't even have to do anything, it'll just happen. Drug addiction and jail. Allowing yourself to think that your life is ruined. Experimenting with painkillers. There is no such thing as dabbling. You might think you're stronger or not at risk, but they'll sneak up, grab you by the throat, and destroy everything you value and love. It's been a year and a half since I've touched anything intoxicating, and I still have a huge hole that I don't know that I'll ever truly dig out of. Financially, emotionally, relationships. If I had a time machine, I'd go back in an instant, and I'm one of the lucky ones that made it out, and statistically I very well still might not make it. No matter how good I feel today, plenty I know and love did not make it out. Their loved ones have to carry that hole forever. Just don't start, not even once. Unprotected 6. Growing up in a toxic family. For me it was heroin. 9 years clean next week. Poor communication. Not being able to speak for yourself properly can be detrimental. Maladaptive daydreaming. For me it's drinking. My last drink January 26, 1970. Over 50 years and still working it a day at a time. Getting bitten by a tick. Very hard to see or know it's on you until it's too late. Found out we have those here now, and as someone that likes nature it terrifies me. Also, covering up when it's middle of summer is not exactly realistic, and even if you do, they can still get in your hair, beard, etc. Teenage pregnancy. Meth. Drugs really, but I've seen firsthand what meth does. Alcohol. Frock that sit. Infidelity. Ignoring your health. Lost my mom because she did this. Nearly lost my dad. And my husband is diabetic now. All because they ignored their health. Getting married very young when you don't even know yourself. Easiest, I'm going to go with obesity. Most people gain the weight over time. Each 20-pound increase adds another level of difficulty to your life until you're at the point of no return. It is possible to lose the weight, but it is incredibly difficult. Loose skin and other factors will also stay with you. Food addiction is very common, especially in America, where sugar tends to be added to a lot of things. Unlike drugs or alcohol, you don't have to seek it out. Everyone has to eat, but if you make the wrong choices it'll get you in big trouble. Hurting people while having a conscience. Ask me how I know. Frocking sucks to never sleep well, and the very few times you can sleep better, you wake up screaming because you get nightmares. In mine, I get forgiven by the people I hurt. Getting killed with kindness does, in fact, hurt a lot when you're actually sorry. The sense of futility you get when you do everything you can to atone and they just go, "It's fine. I forgive you," is horrible. Like it was all for nothing and you're a fool for caring. And you still can't forgive yourself because you know you suck. Seriously, if you're gonna be a bad guy, make sure you're actually a bad guy and don't care. Because guilt weighs heavy and you will have to carry it to the grave. Drugs. It real hard to come back from that. Source. Been clean for 6 years and lost a bunch of friends along the way. According to my toddler, it's when you accidentally break the banana in half while you're eating it. Passiveness. Doing nothing will ruin your life cause you'll never end up doing what you actually want. Move to that city. Go for that girl. Apply at that job. Whatever it may be, you gotta put in the effort. Drink for comfort. There was that Reddit post of a guy who shot up heroin because they were convinced that they were basically immune to addiction. Guess what? They got addicted to heroin and struggled for a few years to get clean. My life, you say? Aside from the obvious things like doing something to get a criminal record or stubbing my pinky toe, not much to be honest. I am at a pretty low point in my life. ATM. Can only go up from here really. Inaction. Not doing the things you want and living your life how you want will ruin it and leave you full of regrets and reminiscing about the past, which might lead you into a depression and cause even more inaction. It's your life, do with it what you may, but make sure you have fun and die with a life full of happiness. Hating people for no reason. I mean getting jealous cause you gonna ruin your life for sure. Not thinking about what you really want. If you don't have plans, you become part of anyone else's plan. I try to take time once in a while to wonder if my current life is coherent with what I want, with my values, etc., and I take decisions accordingly. Self-harm. I used to cut myself when I was younger and now that part of my arm hurts often. The scars are still visible to this day, and whenever I meet new people they get worried. I know this isn't as devastating as some of the other things on this post, but still feel like this should be said. Gambling addiction plus alcohol equals a lifetime of misery. Start drinking. Don't stop. Drugs are harder to find. I can get beer or liquor on every corner. Having a relationship with a pathological narcissist. Even if you're a confident, happy person, they will destroy your life. Anything that ends with YOLO. Post something racist, homophobic, etc. online with your real name attached to it. Late night Reddit. As a serial self-sabotager, I assure you there is nothing I can create that I can't destroy in a day. Gambling addiction. Have kids. Especially if it's with someone who's useless. I'm fascinated by people's worst decision of their life stories. Some people are fortunate that their worst decision only had a mild impact, while others have truly ruined their lives in a split second. Terrible, not thought through decision. I find myself being able to empathize with people who are facing consequences for uncharacteristic, but awful, choices, not excusing them, but just thinking about how tragic it is to ruin a life. Getting married and having kids with the wrong woman. Drugs, alcohol, adult life.